Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to bait me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I'ma have me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Y'all's the hate on all of my moves, but now niggas on it. Y'all used to debate me on me and my views, but now niggas on it. I used to tell them I had me a show, but now niggas on it. Her homies on it. Your homies on it. Realest podcast.
What up? We back. The Realest podcast ever. We here on location down in the heart of downtown Wilmington, Delaware, 913 North Orange Street at Apex Lounge. Y'all can see it here if you're watching on YouTube. On the tables and stuff like that. Shout out to the entire staff from Apex for hosting us today for this amazing interview with a super talented, super giving person who has basically made her life about, you know, the give back and making sure that, you know, the youth of the Mid-Atlantic and beyond, you know, are able to, you know, attend college with the much needed assistance that they need. Today's guest is a multifaceted entrepreneur, attorney, CEO, and visionary whose commitment to community engagement in higher education has garnered national attention with mind-blowing results. In 2017, she founded HBCU Week in Wilmington, Delaware, that has blossomed into an effort that now serviced and aided more than 30,000 students, offered more than 6,000 college acceptances, and raised and awarded more than $70 million in scholarship awards to students that are HBCU bound. As if that wasn't enough, the 2023 results alone are more than some organizations do in a lifetime, with over 15,000 college fair attendees, 2,366 on-the-spot acceptances, and over $22 million in scholarships offered. HBCU Week and its founder have been featured on huge media outlets such as CBS News in Los Angeles, ABC News in Philly, The Griot with Mark Lamont Hill, ESPN's First Take, The Breakfast Club, and Good Morning America, among a host of others. TRP Nation, I couldn't think of any better way to kick off Women's History Month than with the incomparable Ashley Christopher Esquire.
You're very welcome. I appreciate that.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for joining us today and for all of the life-changing work that, you know, you've done impacting the youth of America. Before we get into all of the great things that you've done and accomplished, I think it's important for you to tell us about who you are in your own words.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of simple. I would describe myself as a friend of God first, an advocate, an attorney, a survivor. I'm a mother, and I would say people that have had the opportunity to get to know and experience me would tell you that my heart is the best part of me.
I mean, it seems so, and you know, I gave a lot of highlights about, you know, all of the work that you've been done as far as like the results, but the work itself is a whole, you know, different process. And we was actually talking about that, you know, a lot in the bio. You know, we gave a lot of different footnotes, but for those who don't know, tell us about the history and the inception of HBCU Week.
So it started back in 2017. Employed as special assistant to Mayor Mike Przicki. Shout out to Mayor Mike, City of Wilmington. He asked me to come up with some programming that was pointed at Wilmington's underserved communities. So I thought about what I could do in that space, and education was pressing on my heart the most. So I wanted to make sure, me being an HBCU alum twice, that I could expose as many of the students in my hometown to the opportunities of attending an HBCU. So it started off small, like a college fair-like setting we planned for, anticipated 200 students to show, to engage with HBCU recruiters. And that 200 number, it peaked to 700. So,
oh, wow. And
that was just year one, so we knew immediately that there was an appetite for an HBCU education here in the city of Wilmington. So we started it here on that small scale. Since then, it's expanded into a week-long effort. It emulates an authentic HBCU homecoming experience. When I was at Howard Homecoming, I had the opportunity to serve as vice chair of Howard Homecoming. I'm sorry, when I was at Howard University,
right,
I had the opportunity to serve as vice chair of Howard Homecoming. So it gave me that clear backdrop of large-scale event planning,
right,
what it took to really build something and lift it off the ground and see it blossom.
It's funny that you brung up the fact that you had a background with Howard, with planning the homecoming and stuff like that. Talk to us about your HBCU experience and why you felt the HBCU, the experience and as an educational institution, why that was so important to highlight.
Oh my gosh. Going to Howard was the best decision I ever made in my life. And funny enough, when I applied, I was rejected.
Oh, wow.
So I was an average high school student. I did just enough to get by. Didn't really have to study much, get a B or a C. But I had my sights set on Howard. And when I applied, I got a rejection letter. Devastated because I had no plan B.
Right.
It was the only school I wanted to go to.
All in on Howard.
Yes. So I gave the school a call like, hey, maybe y'all made a mistake, but I got to be on this campus. What can I do? So I'm told I had one last ditch effort. I could write a letter. It would go before the admissions committee. And I was warned that it almost never works out on behalf of the applicant, but it's a way to try and reverse the decision. Yeah. I wrote that letter probably a dozen times before I sent it off, but sent it off. And in 2 weeks, I had an acceptance package to Howard University. Oh, wow. So that's how I got in. And once I got there, it was the best experience. You know, I made a lot of friends. I worked on Howard Homecoming. I was initiated into the Alpha chapter of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. I have friends and line sisters to this day. But going to Howard gave me a true opportunity to really lean in, learn, and embrace my culture. Right. It gave me a sense of confidence that no matter what room I walk into, if I'm the only woman, if I'm the only Black person or person of color, period, I belong, I add value, I'm necessary. Right. And I'm not sure I would have gotten that same sense of self-confidence had I gone to a non-HBCU. Mm-hmm. And I feel like every Black student across the country deserves that same feeling. Right. As they matriculate into whatever venue that they decide to partake in. Right. But that foundation is what really, really set me up and had a firm foundation for what was to come.
Gotcha. Can I ask a question real quick? Yeah. You said that you wrote a letter to give a review by who was reviewing it again?
The admissions committee for Howard University.
What did you write in the letter?
Why I deserve to be there. So the subject of the letter was, tell me why we should reverse our decision and allow you admission into our university. And as a 17-year-old, right, like that's a difficult task. Right.
You haven't really necessarily even discovered your purpose yet. Right. Like, I just need to be here.
Right, I just want to go here. I could feel it, right? So it took me a while to articulate that, right? I wrote it, I ripped it up, I wrote it, I threw it away. It took a while to be satisfied with that letter. But I'm a person of faith. I grew up in the church. My mom's a pastor. We prayed over it. We talked about it.
Was it a long letter?
Maybe a page and a half. Yeah, about a page and a half.
That was a strong letter then, because a page and a half, they were like, all right, man.
It was about a page and a half. It took me a while to get those 4 or 5 paragraphs, but it worked.
And did you do your master's at Howard?
No, I don't have a master's degree, but I went on to get a law degree, so I'm a licensed attorney.
Yeah, okay.
So I studied at the University of D.C. for that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and doing my research, I didn't realize that the University of D.C. was an HBCU.
Neither did I until I got there, right? Yeah. Like, so when I was applying for law schools, I wanted to go back to D.C., but I was trying to find somewhere where tuition was not crazy, right? So I'm doing all this research, and I'm like, oh, University of D.C. Across the street from Howard, share the same professors. Tuition is half. I'm going to UDC. Yeah. Right? So it worked out.
Yeah, because I found it interesting because a lot of people will go undergrad elsewhere and then go to Howard to get their law degree. And you kind of, did it the opposite way where you got your undergrad at Howard and then you discovered this this kind of untapped resource that's literally across the street. Yep. Considerably less money, same education.
Absolutely. And it was great. It was great.
I want to talk to you a little bit about DC in general and what DC as a region means to like Black America and Black life and how being immersed in that scene kind of like creates more educational curiosity, more career path curiosity and stuff like that. I think it's a really unique experience that's really unlike anywhere else in the country where you have all of these Black professionals that are in the upper crust of society making all of this money, and you get to live that experience through college and then you through, law school. How did that kind of pique like your educational curiosity and what you wanted to do as a career just by being in that environment?
Yeah, I'll say, going to Howard for undergraduate school, a lot of my experience was tied directly to the campus. I didn't really venture out to any internships or job opportunities outside of, Northwest DC on Howard's campus.
Right.
Like working for Howard Homecoming was a paid position for me. Right.
Nice.
All the things that I did were directly connected to Howard. I didn't really venture out into the more professional space until law school.
Got it.
So I worked on the Hill with senators and congressmen, and I really learned exactly what it was I wanted to do. Because for a while, like since I could remember, I've always wanted to be a lawyer, right? So I'm gonna be a lawyer, that's my plan. And as I got older and matured with my studies, it's really, I'm just an advocate at heart.
Got it.
And I've been like that since I was a kid. I've always questioned everything.
Right.
So going through that process and doing the whole law school thing and having those experiences in DC gave me the opportunity to figure out what it was I wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I asked that, because I think a lot of college students in general, regardless of race, are kind of programmed, go to college, get an education, kind of like almost like figure out what you're going to be once you get on the campus.
Right.
You kind of like, figure it out. Somebody like you're a little more pointed and directive with, you knew I want to be a lawyer, so you're taking steps, towards that. But a lot of times I think the college experience itself kind of steers students in one way or another. It kind of helps them find there. So if you're in the right supportive type of, environment.
Oh, absolutely. So many resources, and the environment means everything. Like that's something that I tell the students that are looking for their choice HBCU. What city do you want to be in, right? It's not just about the school. There's a lot of different things that you should consider.
Absolutely.
When you choose your college.
The mission of your organization is to encourage high school age youth to enroll into HBCUs, provide scholarship dollars for matriculation, and sustain a pipeline for employment from undergraduate school to corporate America. What fuels your passion for supporting HBCUs and its future students in the manner that you do?
It's really helping people that look like me. That's all it is.
Yeah.
My experience just being here in Wilmington, my experience at Howard University, learning how beneficial those 4 years were and how they shaped me. I just feel like it's my responsibility to expose as many students as I can to that opportunity because it's life-changing.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things you can discover about yourself when you just allow yourself to go into these environments and study and learn new things.
You're from Philly.
I was born in Philly.
Meaning?
I was born at Thomas Jefferson Hospital.
And then they drove you down here?
Well, and then we went to Jersey. So my parents are from Philly, right? My mom was still going to the doctors in Philly. My dad is from Philly, right?
Okay.
So when my mom was pregnant, she's still going to her doctors in Philly, even though we lived in South Jersey. I'm born at Thomas Jefferson. We go to South Jersey. We stay there for a few years. Then I landed in Wilmington. So I'm not one of those I'm from Philly people just because I was born at Thomas Jefferson and my family's from there.
All right, hold on. You was born at Thomas Jefferson.
Yes, sir.
So that y'all leave the hospital.
And
right?
we went home to South Jersey.
So you from Jersey?
I don't say I'm from Jersey either. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware.
How old were you?
6.
You from Jersey?
All right. Yeah. All right, I'm from Jersey.
But what made y'all come to Wilmington?
My dad's job.
Okay.
So that's what moved my parents from Philly to Jersey and then to Wilmington.
Yeah, because my whole family lives in Delaware, and I still don't understand Delaware people. That's why I was asking.
Delaware people. Let's dive into that. What's that mean?
It's just it's not Philly. You know what I mean? It's not Jersey. It's Delaware.
Sure.
It's like I don't know. I like Delaware, but at the same time, it's just like I don't know if I could live down here. And Wilmington has it's almost like 2 different parts of Wilmington. That's how it feels. Okay. So are you practicing law in Delaware?
I don't practice traditionally at all. I'm licensed, but I work for the mayor, which is right around the corner, city county building, and I run the foundation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of, can you help me? So I might do some one-offs. But no, do not reach out to me.
About child support court?
I'm not doing it. No. That's not my lane.
That's something that I find, I think now more than ever is that me and this guy right here, we hang with lawyers all day, every day. All of our closest friends are, attorneys or people in and around, government and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And what I've been finding more now, like in the last 10 years than before, is that a lot of people start off wanting to be a lawyer. I want to do trial. I want to do crim. I want whatever it is they want to do with law. And then they get into the practicality of it. And they're like, there's a broader application of knowing, understanding, and being licensed in the law than just like courtroom activity and stuff like that. And a lot of people pivot. And I noticed that on y'all board, bunch of attorneys.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
for
like
sure.
attorneys tend to like find one another, whether they're actively, you know, practicing law and or doing litigation or whatever it is, in real time. So I just see that people now are using. There's more latitude to a law degree now than it was 15 plus years ago.
The skill set is transferable no matter what you do. Once
Right.
you become a licensed attorney, you can basically, apply that across the board. But I'll say for me, after I finished law school and passed the bar, I did a clerkship. So I worked in family court, I worked in superior court, I worked in the court of common pleas. And I think the nail in the coffin for me when I decided I'm not going to be in the courtroom lawyer,
Yeah.
I kept finding that while I'm clerking and we're listening to opposing arguments, talking to my judge about the decision, every time I would evaluate the set of facts, I would find that my perspective would be on the right side of history, wrong side of the law.
Right.
So maybe this person did break the law, but they don't deserve the punishment that this law says that they do.
Yeah.
And that's the advocate in me.
Mm-hmm.
And changing the law doesn't happen in the courtroom.
Right.
That happens legislative hall, that happens advocating, that happens grassroots, that happens building nonprofit organizations to change things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I'm like, you know what? This ain't for me because I'm going to be in jail with my client.
Right.
So I'm not
You're going to be in jail for contempt every 3 weeks.
Yeah, like enough. Another word and you're in contempt. Like that's going to be me. So I knew that space was not somewhere that I would thrive in.
Right.
So I pivoted.
That was what I was going to say. So how did you transition from the courtroom to where you at now?
So after that clerkship, when I decided, this is not for me.
Real quick, because I don't understand law. So I want to. When people say I was working like clerkship, working with the judge, are you prosecution or defense?
Okay, so when you're a clerk, you're with the judge. So you go to court with the judge. You
Okay.
listen to both sides of the argument.
Okay.
You evaluate those facts. You talk to your judge. The judge makes the ultimate decision.
Okay.
You're next to them, kind of advocating for what you think is right, writing briefs to say, okay, this is what happened. These are the facts. This is how it turned out. And then the judge ultimately takes all of that information and makes a decision. So I got to see cases for 2 years in family court, 8 months in superior court, and then another year in the court of common pleas.
Okay.
And with all of these different cases, I just knew more often than not, I didn't agree with what the law said. So it was time for me to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you're coming to a situation where like you said, the law is the law, the punishment is the punishment, and there's not usually a lot of latitude for interpretation in there unless there's some substantial precedent that hits the table that's like, okay, that makes us reevaluate this whole set of circumstances based on this new thing. But because a lot of these laws are draconian and stuff like that and existed long before any of us were here, it takes so much work to change it because that's how it's always been.
Yep. And in the courtroom, it's like, you're arguing against black letter law. This is what it says. Yeah. And you want somebody to go against what this says. That's not the place to do that.
Right. Yeah. So sometimes a lot of people that are more, more curious and more inquisitive and just have more advocacy in them, care more about people, they just run into that wall where you're like, I can't be here because this is, I have way more, free thinker in me, way more open interpretation to this, but the law is what it is.
Yep. So it was an internal conflict that I had for a while. Like it was a fight going on the inside of me. And I was trying to convince myself, no, this is where you're supposed to be. Like in this courtroom, you went through undergraduate school, law school, you passed the bar in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. You got to do this. Right. So I felt guilty for disconnecting myself from that. But I had to settle into the fact that it just was not for me. And I can still use this skill set that I have no matter what line of work I go into.
And be able to do a lot more.
So you decide you leaving the court. How does that work exactly? What was the transition?
So after the clerkship was done, I just didn't.
Oh, there's a time period on it.
Yeah. Okay, so they're usually 1 year terms that you can keep, going back with your judge, or you can go to other court systems if you want to learn, what happens over there. But for me, I transitioned from clerking to the mayor's office.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Back to HBCU week. The home for the organization is right here in Wilmington, Delaware. But you've made appearances in Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Disney, all to record-breaking numbers. As the organization continues to grow and expand, how do you and your team select where y'all want to leave a footprint at next?
So, I mean, it really depends on the level of access that the student population has to HBCUs and higher education, and what we can do to amplify that. So, we're thinking about some other places right now, and we don't really make knee-jerk decisions. So we'll go into these cities, we'll talk to guidance counselors or superintendents, or kind of evaluate, like, are people already coming into the school offering these same resources? Do these students know about HBCUs? Because you'd be surprised, a lot of people still don't. Even here in Delaware, a lot of the guidance counselors may promote Delaware State because it's the home and only HBCU here in Delaware. Yeah. Fantastic school. Shout out to Dr. Allen. But there's 100 other HBCUs that you could be considering, right? So there's just, a lot of things that we think about before we pop up in another city. So we're evaluating a few others right now. But as of 2024, we'll be here in Wilmington, and we'll also go to Disney World this year too.
Awesome. Something that I noticed that, kind of like looking through like your partner list and your sponsor list and stuff like that. One that jumped out at me was FALSE, was Future STEM Scholars, and it really it really piqued my interest, because I'm like, yes, this is what we need to be introducing, Black and brown kids to, because it's like a lot of times our kids make up in their mind that they just want to make a certain amount of money. And not necessarily understanding what discipline or what jobs are going to be able to bear the type of money that they want to make that also suit their skill set. And a lot of them are gifted in science, technology, engineering, math, whatever. But they find themselves, not necessarily understanding the career paths to, how that goes. And so it was really dope to me to just see that that's something that y'all are getting, helping these kids to foster their dreams in STEM, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done in that particular area, in those particular areas. And that's really where the money is also. Oh my gosh.
Starting salaries is going to be close to six figures when you have a STEM degree coming out of undergraduate school. But the Future STEM Scholars Initiative is so impactful. It is something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
We have been able to get the support of the American Chemistry Council, which is a body made up of, I want to say, 70 plus chemical companies. But they've all decided, let me backtrack. So back in 2018,
okay,
we formed a partnership with the Chemours Company here in Delaware. Fantastic company. And they wanted to figure out how they could support HBCU in terms of scholarships. So they stepped up and said, we will underwrite 7 $40,000 scholarships for students.
Oh, wow.
So long as they go to an HBCU and they study STEM. And I'm like, wow. So we started to work on that, get those applications out, and to award the recipients. But the Chemours Company, the president at the time and CEO, was also the president of the American Chemistry Council board.
Got it.
So he went to his board meeting and said to all of his colleagues, do what we're doing at Chemours. We underwrote 7 $40,000 scholarships. Let's see how much we can do to get these Black students to their choice HBCU that are studying STEM.
Right.
So it ended up being a $40 million commitment.
Whoa.
$40 million commitment from the American Chemistry Council. $40,000 scholarships they committed to. At the end of this scholarship cycle, we will have awarded about 450 so far.
Yeah.
Those awards. And it has been the most incredible experience, because a lot of these students that get this money tell me, if I didn't get this, I wouldn't have been able to go.
Right.
And to have that burden of student debt removed from the student and their family means so much, because you can go to that campus and not worry about being purged from your classes and all the other stuff, right?
You need to go to financial aid.
Oh my gosh. And we know how that is at our schools, right? Yeah. We're still working on that. So it's just been such a gift to see those students flourish and to be able to offer that as an incentive for them choosing an HBCU and declaring a STEM major.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it always sounds equally incredible every time I say it. I don't get used to it.
Right.
Because who gets a $40 million commitment from a chemical company to just send Black kids to school, right? Like that's
it started off, you said 7, right?
7, literally 7.
From 7 to 1,000. To 1,000 of them. So it's such a gift. And those kids, oh my gosh, way far ahead of me when I was in high school. I mean, like the
Yeah.
kids that know they want to study STEM when they're in high school, they are
Right.
so disciplined, so pointed, so focused. I mean, they're just a different breed. I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, that's amazing. Your brand ambassador, Stephen A. Smith, is a really big deal in the world of sports, media, entertainment. How did he get involved as an ambassador with HBCU Week?
You know, the world is so small, right? So I know Stephen A's college roommate. Shout out to Monte Ross. He is the former head men's basketball coach at University of Delaware.
I heard the name, I just couldn't picture where.
Yeah, so Stephen A was his college roommate at Winston-Salem. So Monte had come to one of our HBC Week Awards Gala ceremonies, and he told Stephen A about it. We connected. He got excited about it, and it was just the most organic and authentic connection that just worked and made sense.
Right.
And, you know, when Steven supports something, he's loud about it. So he's been loud about it.
Very.
And we appreciate that. And it's opened a lot of doors. Like, he's the reason for the Disney partnership, you know, as Disney owns ESPN.
Exactly.
And he got those conversations started for us. And now here we are.
That's amazing. That was going to be my follow-up question was, how was his presence and his involvement, you know, in the organization increased the visibility, donor relationships and stuff like that?
I mean, Steven's been such a gift. I mean, just by way of him just talking about it on ESPN one day, we had such an influx of people coming to our website, hitting the donate now tab and just offering their resources that way. A lot of businesses will come forth, and sometimes it's like, hey, we want to get involved. Will Steven be there? It's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
You know, so
they want to meet him so they can argue with him.
Right. I did not know how much of a thing that was.
Yeah.
Yo, people really look forward to that. Like, I want to see him because I want to debate about this. And it's like, okay, at your own risk. Like, because he will.
There was something that he did because he's been doing a phenomenal job with building out his own network and his podcast and stuff for the last few months. And there was a social media question that was like, if a dog wore pants, how would he wear the pants? And Stephen A is on there like, all right, so let me explain this to y'all. Like, they just asked him to debate the craziest things. You know what I mean?
It's definitely a thing. I have seen it. And he will indulge sometimes too. So be careful what you ask for.
He's the debate king, bar none.
Yes, he is.
You've had some big, amazing corporate sponsors. We talked about the Camorra's company, corporate partner sponsors that have allowed your fledgling organization to grow in unprecedented fashion. What do you think it is about the mission of HBCU Week that connects to the core competencies of these big multinational companies that you're working with?
Well, honestly, I mean, we all saw this racial reckoning when George Floyd was murdered. 2020, right? We saw that. And then all these companies wanted to suddenly say, hey, we love Black people. We love diversity. How can we help? How can we lean in? And we're also seeing people pull away from that too, right?
Yeah.
So it was a time for me to really see who was real, who was really authentic about this, and who this work really mattered to.
Right.
Because I'm very conscious about my partnerships. I don't believe in just transactional partnerships. Like, here's the money, see you later. Nope. So we have to really be aligned on the core values and the mission, just like the FOSSI scholarship. It's not just $40,000. You get an internship, you get a mentor. There's programming that you're exposed to, and the goal is post-graduation job placement. So it really gave me an opportunity to see who was real and who was not. And I think the authenticity of the mission, people can see how passionate I am about it. Like, I this is my life's work.
Right.
I don't do this for recognition. I don't do this for clout or for photo ops, as some people might say.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
But you know, it's really, I mean, people can, when they can see and feel that, you don't really have much to sell.
Right.
You know, like, if it's real, it's real, and if it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
And you're able to pick those people out, and the relationships have been great.
Right. You know, when you're doing God's work and you're pouring into so many people and making a lot of change, that upsets some people. And sometimes, you know, people have things to say. What do you think, and what are you willing to say about the baseless, unnecessary, and unfounded commentary of Velda Jones-Potter, Wilmington City Council, who decided to just come out and just disparage HBCU Week back in, I think it was October, on her campaign trail? What's the source of that? Where did that come from? And what can you say, you know, within reason about that whole situation?
Well, thankfully, she's not a city council member, but she is running for mayor. So she's on the campaign trail for mayor, and I work for the current mayor, so I guess I have to catch strays according to her. I'm not going to say too much just because she's not really deserving of the energy.
Understood.
But I will say this. I've matured and I've grown a lot spiritually. And the response that I gave Velda was mild.
Yeah.
In comparison to
very,
you know. And the only reason, honestly, that I responded to her remarks was because she made them on live television.
Right.
And it came just weeks after 13,000 kids were down at the Chase Field House to experience an HBCU Week college fair. And I just felt the need to remind her just one time.
Yeah, one time and one time only.
All right. Of the impact that we've sustained. Particularly in a space where this is the very constituent base that you want to vote for you. And the HBCU Week movement means so much to people here in Wilmington. It's looked forward to by little ones all the way up to senior citizens. It's just an authentic Black HBCU homecoming experience for everybody to enjoy. So, you know, greatest rapper alive told us, right? Wise man told me.
Don't argue with fools.
People from a distance can't tell who's who, right? So it's I can't give her anything more than I have. I left my remarks on my page intentionally.
Yes.
So
I noticed that.
So if there's any questions, I mean, and you can see how Wilmington feels about it if you scroll through the comments. So it's just sad. It's disappointing that it had to come to that, and you would attack something of such magnitude for people who look like you. But all skin folk ain't kin folk, you know?
Yeah.
We learn that as we grow and as we ascend to different levels. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, given the situation, I think it was important. It was, like you said, it was mild, it was classy, it was high level, and you spoke to the impact and the results of what you're doing. And, you know, having something to say is necessary in that situation because a lie unchecked becomes the truth sometimes. Mm-hmm. And like you said, she said this on live television. People saw this, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there was, you know, questions and additional fodder. So you addressed it in the most succinct, directive way you could, which is with the results. And like you said, the people spoke as well.
Yes. And I don't like when things come to that, but like you said, sometimes it's necessary. But I'm going to say it one time, and I'm going to say it one time only. There's no need for me to have any follow-up conversations with her or with anybody on her team. Right. You can refer back to the message I posted.
Indeed. Controversy aside, what would you say is the best or the most fulfilling part about what you do with HBCU Week and beyond in terms of, you know, all of the civic and the community outreach that you do?
It would probably be making the phone calls to the students that apply for the scholarships to let them know that they've been selected. Yeah. Oh my gosh, those phone calls, they can be us celebrating, screaming, there's often tears.
Yeah.
And the emotional reactions come more frequently from the parents than the actual student because they the one that got to pay, right?
It's a huge financial burden lifted off of them.
Yes, so it just feels so good to be able to offer that to my people, right? To go out and advocate for these scholarship dollars, to get these companies to pour in and offer this money and they say, here, we got you. You know, that's just a feeling that is often undescribable. But I would not trade it for the world. And these kids become my babies. You know, they reach out, they send updates. Oh, I'm online, or I'm in this organization, or I got this internship. Right. And it's just the coolest thing to follow and be involved in. And I'm so grateful to be a vessel for that kind of help. Yeah.
How many scholarships do y'all do a year?
So the FOSSI scholarship, we give away 150 of those every year. Mm-hmm. Then we have an NFL scholarship. We do 7 of those. Mm-hmm. We also have a Barclays one from LexisNexis. There's 7 different scholarship categories. Mm-hmm. We give away about 180.
Total?
Yes, every year. Mm-hmm. And that equals about $7 million.
Talk to us about the on-the-spot scholarships.
Yes.
And how that works. And who are some of the organizations and partners you have that are doing those?
So some of the HBCUs that come to the actual college fair, they do have money set aside to offer scholarships on the spot. Mm-hmm. So you'll have anything from like maybe a $5,000 award up to a full ride.
Oh wow.
Yes, and Delaware State has been our partner for those full rides for quite some time. They come in and
They do
give
on the
out
spot full rides?
on the spot. You come with your transcript and your SAT or ACT score. They evaluate. The lines are long, but you got to stay in line and wait because you're going to get a blessing. Okay? A lot of these kids, all you hear in that college fair is screaming, celebrating, high-fiving. Yes, I got in. Like, bullhorns.
I need one of them letters.
Yeah, and you know, the beautiful thing about it is it's about 12 to 15 schools that will do that each year.
That's crazy.
So you'll have students that get multiple and they walk away with choices. And this is September. This is the top of your senior year.
Right.
So it's just a really, really good way to level set and to have a high morale boost.
Wait, that's happened before?
We've been doing this since 2017.
No. I'm saying a kid has gone there and gotten 2 on the spot full rides.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely, yeah. And then they have to make that decision, you know, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go. Yeah.
Yo, let me give him a full ride. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, options. It's a beautiful thing. Y'all got to come. I'm going to send y'all the information. Y'all got to come.
Nah,
y'all
absolutely.
Y'all got to experience it this year.
You give me a full ride or something? I'll go back to school.
Are you a high school senior?
I mean, I was at one time.
Do you have a high school senior? Bring some high school seniors with you. And they can.
Oh, you mean do I have a kid? I thought you saying do I have a diploma?
Advocate for me.
No.
I'm sorry, but you know, and it's funny.
I might know a high school senior though. I got cousins.
Yeah, bring them down.
And step nephews.
All of the TRP listeners, if y'all have high school seniors, let's start. That's why we want to start this conversation now, top of the year, so that when this time rolls around, y'all can't say, "Oh, I ain't know, I forgot, whatever."
Yep.
Let's start putting this on y'all calendar now, so y'all can make sure y'all get these kids down here.
Are you still doing it at Chase Field?
Yes. So HBCU Week Wilmington will be from September 22nd through the 29th, Sunday to Sunday, full week packed of a lot of events. That Friday will be our college fair at the Chase Field House. It starts at 9 a.m. and it ends around 2:30 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
come out.
Oh no!
I was going to say come through. Yeah.
So it's a whole week. It's Sunday to Sunday. So what? Take us through the week.
All right, so we kick it off on Sunday with a gospel brunch. That's the best way to do it. If you experience Howard Homecoming or any Black homecomings, usually starts with convocation.
It's faith-based.
Yeah, you start with the church. Go to church before you turn up. So we have a gospel brunch on that Sunday. On Monday, we do a 5K. Tuesday.
Like a run?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
It can be a walk. You can walk it.
Oh, yeah. All
Yeah.
right.
Some people run it, some people walk it. Yeah.
My little cousin got a Razor scooter. Bring them down there.
Hoverboard?
Yeah, a little hoverboard or something. Yeah.
I encourage you to walk it. Even
They told me I got to run to get this scholarship. Like, it's kind of crazy. No,
you know what? Either way.
I feel that though. So y'all do a church and brunch on Sunday.
Yes, and then Monday we do the 5K. Tuesday we do a middle school college tour at Delaware State.
That's
So we
amazing
take
that y'all
the kids.
starting so young.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
important.
yeah, say middle school. Okay.
Yeah, we take the middle schoolers down to Del State to experience that. That's Tuesday. Wednesday we do our R&B concert at the Queen, and it's usually
We did a show at the Queen.
nice. I love that venue.
on our tour
I
last year.
came to y'all's show.
You did?
I came to y'all's show. This was a minute ago though. Have you done it more than once?
At the Queen?
Yeah.
No, that was
Just
only
once.
the
It was
Okay.
2022.
That's with Nerd.
Okay, yeah. So that was
Yeah.
yes. That was 2 years. I came. I did. I
Yeah.
checked that one out. I did. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, man. Shout out Nerd Grandma, man. That was a legendary
Actually,
show.
my friend Glow turned me on to y'all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Glow was
Glow
listening.
is Bev.
Mama
Shout out
Bev.
to
Yeah,
Yeah.
Glow
Yeah.
and Bev are two of our favorite people, super supporters. They
probably
come to
partying in
everything.
the street around here somewhere.
Oh man.
They be
yeah.
up and down these little blocks out here.
Mama
though.
Bev,
That's
you
my
still
dog.
you owe us oxtails. I didn't forget.
Yo, we
You
down
heard
here. Yeah.
You heard that, Miss Bev. Oxtails.
Yeah.
So wait, Wednesday we do our R&B concert. Thursday we go into a high school and we do a My HBCU Experience panel discussion. We'll gather all the students in an auditorium, get a little DJ, have some fun, and then we have a conversation about what HBCU life is like. On Friday we do our college fair.
I didn't mean to throw my hand. But
What's up?
your panel discussion will include just an array of people who went
Yes.
to HBCUs?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep, HBCU alum.
Different
And-
age groups, I imagine.
Yes,
Everything,
we
okay.
usually include at least one of our scholars, and then we go up from there.
Okay.
Friday we do our college fair. Friday night we do a comedy show. Saturday we do a block party, and then Sunday battle the bands.
Nice.
So it's a long, long week for me and everybody working it, but everybody else has a great old time.
Yeah.
It's a good time. And I do too. It's such a gift to be able to activate this here in Wilmington. So yeah, Sunday to Sunday.
Now, these events, I assume, are at different places, right?
Yeah,
throughout
all
the week.
local.
Okay. But
So-
then, is it Saturday or Sunday that's at the Chase, at Chase Field?
Friday.
Fieldhouse is Friday.
I'm sorry, Friday. Okay.
That's Friday. We do the Queen for gospel brunch. We do the Queen for our concert and our comedy show. We go into the school for the panel discussion, Dell State for
The middle school.
yeah,
Okay,
and the
okay.
5K we have at Rockford Park.
Okay.
So all local.
Man, amazing. Talk about some of the outreach that y'all have done and the fact that now it's not just Delaware kids that are attending HBCU week anymore, and how like far some people have traveled to, be a part of the experience.
Yeah, the power of word of mouth is great. So as you know, we started here in Wilmington 2017. We had 700 students, and that number just climbs every year. Most recently, we had about 13,000 at the Fieldhouse.
Amazing.
And that includes all of our Delaware schools and all the surrounding areas. And it's just like everybody telling everybody from Delaware to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, as far as Connecticut. We even had a bus come down and they said they were from Florida. And I'm like, when did y'all get on the road?
You said you had a bus?
A bus? They said they were from Florida. And this is before we did HBC Week Disney.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. And that happens at our Battle of the Bands, too. Our Battle of the Bands, we do at Frawley Stadium. And they travel far from that.
Yeah.
But that band thing, that's a whole different.
That's a whole different.
They serious about them bands.
They practicing right now for Battle of the Bands.
Yes, they are. They're serious. And it's such a great experience. Because if you went to an HBCU, you didn't really go to watch the games. You wanted to see the halftime.
I went
show.
to HBCU. I went to Clark, Atlanta.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
only
Oh,
went
my
for a year
gosh.
though. I didn't graduate from there.
I love Clark.
Yeah, but when
Clark.
I was at Clark, I was immersed in the college experience because I'm in the Atlanta University Center. So we would go to the Morehouse football games. We would we had the consolidated homecoming was consolidated back then, where it was all of the schools kind of like did our homecoming or whatever together. So I remember we had a concert. It was like Jadakiss and this person, like whole concert. And I remember also traveling to FAMU for their homecoming and going to their football game and just seeing it. I'm like, yo, this is homecoming on steroids.
Yeah, FAMU.
Down at FAMU.
FAMU. All you see is that orange and green.
Yeah.
It ain't about
For miles.
What you wearing? No,
Orange and green.
Orange and green. They don't play down there yet. And that's what I think is so beautiful about the HBCU experience. It's the camaraderie of the schools.
Yeah.
And it's like we might have our like verses between each other, but nobody on the outside can
Exactly.
say, nah, we ain't having that. We ain't having that. But it's love.
Yeah, definitely. What is your vision for HBCU week on a macro level for how large you feel like this can ultimately become?
People ask me that question all the time, and I always say I want HBCU week to be as big as the Super Bowl. And I've said that before the song came out, right? So it wasn't like big as like it has nothing to do with the song. But yeah, I've said that. Roland Martin asked me that same question a few years ago, and my answer is the same. I want every kid across the country that wants access to HBCU education to have that without the burden of student debt.
Right.
So as long as there are students that exist that are shut out from HBCUs because they don't have the money, my work will continue.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think the overall philosophy of the organization is evergreen. It's something that there's always going to be a need. I think that in recent years, like the last 7 or 8 years, HBCUs have come back to the forefront of conversation and topic and stuff like that. It's been a thing where every president the last few years has been asked, what do you intend to do to help support HBCUs?
Definitely.
So it's become a big topic again, and it wasn't for a long time. A lot of people were pushing their kids to PWIs and stuff like that because they felt like there was a superior education, but you're a double HBCU alumni, so you can speak to everything in terms of the experience, the education, the opportunities that come from the education and everything like that. So
I mean, HBCUs graduate the best and the brightest every year.
Yeah.
And that's not me just saying that. That's an experience I've lived and I see every year.
Right. And
it reminds me of a conversation I had with a student a few weeks ago, I had a speaking engagement at Yale. And there was a student that came to me afterwards and said, I wanted nothing more than to go to Howard University, but I couldn't afford it, so I'm here.
At Yale?
Now, bear with me, right?
Yeah, tell this story.
Bear with me. I know it sounds crazy, but listen. So our HBCUs cannot compete with PWIs when it comes to merit-based scholarships. We don't have the money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you apply to a Howard, a Spelman, a Hampton, any HBCU with top-tier marks, GPA, SAT score, they may not give you a full ride. They may give you
a partial.
10, 12,000 a year, right? Our kids may not be able to afford that. Mm-hmm. So if you look at our endowment funds, right, Howard has the largest endowment fund out of any HBCU. It sits at about $865 million. The second one is Spelman with about $450. Right, so you see that gap.
Precipitous drop off, yeah.
Harvard's endowment fund?
Probably billion.
$50 billion.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yale's endowment fund? $40 billion.
Yeah. I saw the thing Harvard has like a certain amount of billionaires that give back every year. Like, yeah, Harvard is crazy.
Right. So keep in mind our 865 at Howard, and that's the best you're going to get at the HBCU. We can't afford. So
the other day, the lady gave $1 billion to the med school.
That medical school,
just
right?
Like, yeah, take a bill, give them all free education.
Tuition free.
Yeah. The whole, was it dental or
medical school?
Medical school. The whole joint. $1 billion.
So when you have a student that applies to Howard, gets in, gets a partial, applies to Yale, gets in, gets a full ride, what you think that parent gonna say?
You going to Yale.
Yeah.
You going to Yale.
You going to Yale, and you going to like it.
Yeah, get your cardigan. You look good in blue. Yeah, get your cardigan.
And
you holding sweaters up to you. Yeah, that look good on you.
Well, you going to jail. You going to Yale. Like, yeah, real
exactly.
tough.
So it's like that's why this work is so important, because you have students even in that space that want to come to an HBCU, but they can't afford it.
What is the tuition now for
Howard? I think it's about $50,000
for the whole ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
A year.
Okay. No.
A year.
Yeah.
200 undergrad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about $50,000.
It ain't cheap.
Yeah, you going to Yale.
You going to Yale.
You going to Yale. Oh,
Right. And I'll never forget that. It was like the wind was knocked out of me, right? Because you got this kid who's bright, wants nothing more than to like better himself, want to go to an HBCU, but he had to go to Yale. Imagine that. I had to go to Yale.
They forced me.
Right. I had to go.
They damn near came and got me and drugged me up there.
Right. So it's
$50,000 a year.
That's tuition, room and board. That's what all the out of pocket costs are going to be about.
3 meals, all of that.
Yeah.
You get a meal plan.
You get a meal?
You get a burger. You get a burger.
You get your meal plan.
A little Santa Fe wrap or something. Yeah, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So that, I mean, all kind of stories I hear.
My goodness.
On a regular
How
basis.
many HBCUs are there?
Right now, accredited 101.
101.
Yes.
Now, can I ask this real quick? What is the first HBCU?
Oh man, you had a debate. The first degree granting HBCU or the first HBCU?
My mom went to Cheney, right?
Okay.
I got my dad remarried. She has a son. He has a wife. What is that to me?
Your dad's married.
Your sister-in-law. By marriage. I don't know.
Fake cousin. Whatever.
I'm already confused.
Shout out Kalila, but she's Lincoln.
And they argue.
Not they don't. My mom passed away, but my mother was Cheney, and I always believed it. Then you get old, you like, hey, I was lying to me. Like, I was going. Then you find out it's like it's summer classes, and then is it Lincoln?
Lincoln was the first degree granting HBCU.
Degree granting, okay.
Cheney was established first, but they were not giving degrees.
Okay.
You just come hang out.
We chilling. Yeah.
Got the workshops.
I'll come on.
Grab some of them Biscoff cookies.
But I mean, they were there. There's something to be said about them being built and established and standing.
No, right? my mom was Cheney proud, like and I always in my mind. Then I got a little older. I started reading. It was like no one has like a piece of paper from that. So it's like all right, like then you start seeing it for what it was like.
Yeah.
So it's like to me it don't matter. I don't have no dog in the race.
Yeah.
But I see that a lot online, like Cheney Lincoln. Like which one is it? And it's just like, they got diplomas, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, seriously.
Yeah. It's a never-ending fight. But I mean, it is what it is. It's all love, all HBCUs. It's the Howard Hampton debate.
Yeah, you figure Jules went to South Carolina State. Is that an HBCU?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just, it's 101 of them.
Yep.
I think it's crazy that Delaware only has one.
Yeah, I mean, small state, second smallest state.
Still, like,
it'd be nice if there was another one here, though. It would further north.
Yeah, I mean, Delaware's big enough.
Yeah, because I've taken that ride to Del State many a time.
It's like, dang.
It's brutal. Until you get to that last bridge, you're like, am I gonna make it?
Yeah.
Am I you drive so long, you're like, am I going in the right direction? Is how long it takes to get to Del State.
Yeah, it's a little
But a beautiful campus.
It is. I love Del State's campus.
Beautiful campus.
It really is. Love it.
Beautiful campus. Last question, unless you got anything else to add. How can we, the guys in this room, our listeners, other people in the Mid-Atlantic region, and the country at large get involved with HBCU Week and help to amplify the message, volunteer, help with adding some scholarships? Like, what can we do to help this absolutely necessary organization, this gym that's right here in Wilmington, Delaware?
Thank you for asking. I mean, look, tell the high school students you know about us, direct them to our website, hbcuweek.org. We're at HBCU Week on all the social channels. If you feel so moved to donate, you can do so on our website. It's a little tab that says donate now.
Nice.
No amount is too small.
Hear that? Donate.
Yes, donate. Look, we got to keep doing this work, and we can't do it without the financial backing. Right. So that's really important. But, and pop up. Pull up to one of our events. Maybe you guys could do like a live broadcast.
Yeah, I would love to come out and see something like that. It would be really
cool. Yeah.
Are you projecting the numbers to go up? I assume
every year they do.
Yeah, you said it.
And I'm trying to figure out if we need to transition because the September weather is like so.
It's tricky. Yeah, it's tricky.
Like maybe we could do an indoor-outdoor thing because the field house has a great campus.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We had 13,000 last year, and if that number goes up, I don't want to turn nobody away.
Right. I was saying before we started recording, I'm like, you might have to start doing shifts.
Yeah. Just like, what time y'all gonna be here? All right, time for y'all to leave. Because we also provide lunch to these students.
Right.
So you can imagine how expensive that gets.
Yeah.
But Chick-fil-A has been a fantastic sponsor. They
shout out Chick-fil-A, man.
No
matter what they say about y'all, they lying.
Yeah.
I like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, they do. They come in with the sandwiches, the chips, the cookie, the water. And the kids love it. Everybody loves the Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially a free one.
It's free? Yeah. So how much is this? I'll just take one?
Yep. Come get the sandwich.
Yeah, that's good. I would love to come see something like that.
Yeah, I'm all in. I would love to be a part of it. Like I said,
we'll come down on Wednesday. Or Tuesday, rather.
After the podcast.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, we'll definitely pull up for that.
All right, fine. After 5 a.m. But there's...
Well, actually, you said the brunch is Sunday, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to come
get some of them eggs.
My dad's house. I'll be
Listen,
back.
pull up all, I guess, 8 days, Sunday to Sunday. I'll get y'all the information, let you know what's going on.
Yes, absolutely.
Join, comp tickets on me. Pull up. Maybe do a live little show, talk to some students after they get a scholarship.
Yeah, I would love to be a part of like the even seeing the panel discussion you do. That would be cool. Like, yeah. I link you with our guy Jay Petty. You know what I'm saying? He's all about HBCUs.
Yeah. He's the only Black executive director for White and Kennedy, the #1 advertisement company in the world.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's Lincoln.
He's He's an HBCU guy.
Oh, cool.
He'll start that argument quick.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, he's somebody to connect to. Maybe he would have some words of wisdom to offer on the panel discussion.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a superstar. He worked on the Travis Scott McDonald's campaign. That's his campaign.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He's a big dog
nice,
in that industry.
Yeah. Sound like it.
So I definitely want to connect y'all. JP, if you're watching this, you should have a text already about connecting y'all.
Stop sending me stupid memes on Instagram. You got real business.
Get out here and get in the community.
Straight up.
Where can everybody that's listening to this find you, find the organization, socials, website, give them everything because this is a necessary organization. You're doing amazing work and we want to do whatever we can to amplify it. So where can everybody find you at?
Thank you. So you can find me personally on Instagram at where's the underscore at in my name? Is it before or after?
I think it's after. No, hold on.
I want to be that wealthy. What's my name again? I think it's.
I don't remember what the underscore is. That's all.
Oh, it's under the S after your name. It's A Christopher _ ESQ.
There we go. You can find me on Instagram at A Christopher _ ESQ. And then HBCU Week on all social channels. And our website is hbcuweek.org.
Amazing website, by the way, too.
Thank you.
Make you go in there and make you want to give money. So when y'all go to hbcuweek.org, hit the donate tab and give up some money.
Appreciate that.
You got something?
No, I'm gonna make an HBCU joke, but that's not necessary. At the end of the day, I think it's important with HBCUs. Like I said, my mother went to one. A lot of my good friends went to one, and I just want to see the energy be the same out in the world. I always would question that. You'd see these videos of like people getting into like these schools from like our community, and it's like I low-key wouldn't mind seeing that from like outside of our community. You know what I mean? Like people who aren't Black or brown being that excited to go to these schools, because I think the schools are that good. You know what I mean? You talk about Howard and Spelman and
Hampton and Morehouse.
What's the one right there where Steve live at? I can't think of the name of it right now. Winston-Salem, yeah, he's right there. So it's just
North Carolina A&T.
Yeah.
So many amazing HBCUs out there.
There are with so much to offer, and you'd be surprised. How diverse Delaware State's a very diverse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
HBCU, and it's becoming that way year over year. So keep an eye on these campuses because you may see a little bit more of that.
Yeah,
in the years to come.
Amazing. Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today. We tried to get this done a couple months ago, but sometimes things just fall right in place. I couldn't think of a better person to start off Women's History Month with than yourself. You're literally out here making history every single day, through your work, through your advocacy. I know you got, at this point, probably 200 adopted kids that you have as a result of, all of the amazing things that you've been doing, but it's absolutely necessary. And we need to, highlight and celebrate people like you that are doing amazing work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Realest Podcast ever. We are out on Revolt Podcast Network. Make sure y'all stay tuned for everything that we got coming up. Go to officialtrpe.com. Also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@TRPE, or just search TRPE. We pop up everywhere. Peace.